Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real World Astrology. I am here with Heather Botkin, and she is here with me. We haven't seen you
Hi.
guys in a while, and we have quite an episode laid out for you today, including dogs that have turned blue. I know, it's ridiculous. Um,
I'm well, yeah.
Heather and I are going to go over the chart for the next week because we do have some transits, and we're going to use one of Heather's products that she uses over on the Woke.Ones.Revolution Patreon channel. And
Oh,
you'll get to see how she serves over there. And then we're going to talk about Polly and their work with meditation, just a little bit. We also have your speed signs. Just, you know what I did? I was looking for just one word that could describe what it was going to be like for each sign during this next week, because I felt like the impact of that would just be better. You know what I mean?
sometimes simplifying it is.
It really is, because it helps you to focus and you know that your word for the week is tangible. If you're a Pisces, forever your word is tangible. Forever. Forever.
I've heard reciprocity all week long. It's
Reciprocity.
been a word that I've been hearing. So,
That's really awesome. And thanks for doing the dishes. Thanks a
yeah,
lot. Heather
yeah,
and I have been living together now for a little bit, and I've got no complaints.
me neither.
It's been just awesome in here having her and having us together. And we hope you guys like the content that we're going to be putting out. Let's see, what else are we going to be doing here? Looking at it. Oh, yeah, we're going to do a tarot card of the day.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a little bit later on. We're going to go to James Eads, James R. Eads. If you know his deck, it's called Vision Guide. It's one of my favorites.
Hmm.
I think Heather likes that guy too a little bit, maybe. Then we're going to go over like news, crazy news that has happened over the week. We're going to read one of our top patrons. I won't say their name, but I did send them an email, and we're going to cover a little bit of your chart, my friend, because you've loved on us with the Patreon channels, and we want to love on you just a little. Yeah, so interesting episode, but one that we're really excited for.
We're also going to talk a little bit about like some of the things that people are maybe on the fence, maybe feeling a little wishy-washy about belief systems on things that we do every single day that is our own little magic.
Mm.
And so we're going to touch a little bit on that. And then, yeah, we'll just kind of go from there. But I'm so excited. Miriam and I have been like talking about this for months and months and months and months and months and months, and we finally got it all set up, and we've got our schedule set,
Got
so
it set?
we've got more content rolling out, and this is going to be a weekly thing.
Yeah.
So don't you guys go nowhere.
No,
Like,
don't go anywhere. And
we're
if you
here
guys
with you.
love our content or you just love us, how about that? Go ahead and hit like on this video. Turn your notifications on, because we have another product coming out as well later on this week. It's called Zodiac Smackdown. Someone's
I'm
about
so
to
excited.
catch hands.
Catch them hands.
Yeah, catch them hands.
It's kind of like a roasting,
Yeah, we're
like
going to take a chart.
just have some
We're
fun.
just going to have some fun and roast a
Equal
little.
opportunity, baby. It's
No, nothing mean though. Nothing crazy.
just
Because you know what? The longer I've been awake, the less I can handle that.
yeah, I know. Me too. The
Yeah.
negativity. I will say though, the humans, we are rare creatures, and we're very complicated creatures with a bunch of different things. And the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about astrology is that it shows it all. It shows it all.
Yeah. I had a professor when I was getting my second degree in one of my classes, and he said, he was just, man, he was like, humans are never going to live on the moon, ever. And, okay, negative Nancy, what's going on with you, right? And he goes, humans are still finding species.
Yeah.
Like they're still discovering species. So technically, every habitat that exists is here in some way on the chain supporting humans. So how are you going to build a colony over there when you
Mhm.
don't even know all the species it takes to keep you alive? And I was just like, you win, bro. you know?
Yeah, or even the species that we know are already alive, like all the plant medicine and stuff that really just like, they say they're supposedly a cure for every ailment there possibly could be already here for us. Well, we definitely aren't there yet.
No,
So
no. Meanwhile,
I'm
back at the
just,
ranch, you got those holistic healers that are like, I don't understand your problem. Just chew on the bark. Do you know that? Certain trees with the bark, you chew on it. It's like aspirin. All of a
I don't
sudden,
know, but
all the
you totally just
Western movies were like, God, they were cheating.
Western music movies, yeah, like what was it, A Million Ways to Die in the West, where he goes in
Oh,
and he's like, you need to have a blue jay poke, beak in your ear or something
right?
like that.
You're like, what kind of cheating is this?
I went south real fast.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm
Well,
so excited. Let's get going.
hello, hello, hello. We have we're gonna work the week off of this chart. It is set for November 6, 2025, which is Thursday. And I chose the Washington, D.C. Because it's Eastern time and everybody kind of bounces off of that. But this is what the chart looks like. And Heather, tell us about those oppositions, please.
And Heather is here. So yeah, Heather's gonna have to grab her glasses, unfortunately, because I can't see anything.
I
Hmm.
know that Venus is holding very tightly that square position with Pluto and Jupiter, and
Yeah,
she's at the 29th degree of Libra.
yeah, it's 29 minutes 30 seconds at like 7:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So shortly after this happens, it'll end up moving into Scorpio. So it will be in Scorpio today. And then we've got, oh boy. Yeah. So you were talking about the opposition, but I want to point out that tomorrow, well, yeah, tomorrow, Friday, we're actually going to have Uranus is going to switch from that 0 degrees, 4 seconds Gemini. It's
Mm.
going to hit back to 29 degrees Taurus. So
Mm.
finally some Earth in our lives here, but that ongoing opposition that's the hit and miss and just keeps happening. So we have Mars at 1 degree Sag. Right. Let me see. Am I looking at that right? Yeah. That's Lilith at 27. So Mars at 1 degree Sag. Mercury at 6 degrees Sag, getting ready to station retrograde, opposing Uranus at 0 degrees Gemini, which later in the day today it will be moving back into Taurus.
I mean, that's
So
kind of look at that position. The moon conjunct Uranus opposite Mars.
that's
That,
be
and
careful in
Uranus
traffic. Be
stepping
careful.
back into Taurus, it's very, there's a lot of bang for your buck.
Hey, I'm maybe even one of those things that if you stop to get gas on the way to work, you may just want to get a ticket, a lottery ticket, that is.
Right? Grab a lottery
Just
ticket.
for those instant things. You never know. You might have a good surprise. But I would definitely say take an extra breath or two in traffic today. Anybody that you're dealing with might be a little high on emotions. And with that Gemini Sag axis wanting to express out loud their frustrations or feelings. So definitely recommend practicing the pause today, without all the extra reaction. And it's not to say that you need to fear how necessarily you're going to react. A lot of times, especially when you're talking about feelings, it has to do with other people too, right? So it could be how somebody else reacts to something you say or do. So that's just my two tidbit. That's my tidbit there.
I mean, there's a few things I'm picking up right off the bat with Venus at the 29th degree in Libra, and she's in a fairly tight, quincunx position, the first and the second. And
Hmm.
there she is. To me, it's almost as if she's drawing back that bowstring, really taut. And you see the kite in the sky where everything is all dependent on the total randomness of that moon that's fixing to move over into the 29th degree. And it's like flipping the script, right?
Yeah,
It's like flipping the script.
very
And
much
if
so.
you notice, Vesta is in on it. Vesta is sextiling Venus. Vesta there in Sag, right? And she's like, okay, just watch this. And she is pointing, like, if you take the Uranus and the moon and you go the other way with the quincunx to the other side of the chart,
Hmm.
I swear to goodness, it's almost as if Vesta is saying, oh, you like that? Watch this, And there
How you
she
like
is,
me now?
like,
How you
shiva
like
boom,
me now?
like right in your face. It's
Right, right.
crazy, man. I can
Yeah.
see also that you know, Saturn and Neptune at the 29th degree. And it's set in that kite. But that's what I kind of see. I see Vesta and Saturn going, you know, what's right, the integrity of what's right. My drill sergeants used to say it to me a lot, they'd say, do the right thing every single time, whether someone's watching you or not.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the right thing is the right thing is the right thing.
And
Does that make
speaking,
sense?
it does, it does. And speaking of which, I mean, if you talk about that yod coming off of Venus to Uranus and to Neptune, right? So if you're looking at that, both ends of that, the spiritual, how do I say this? Okay, so Venus is ending her trek in her domain, right?
Mm,
Venus rules Libra. And with Venus ruling Libra, she's at her pinnacle. But gears are about to shift into Scorpio, which is a lot more, it's a lot deeper. It's a lot it's a lot. It's a whole lot of feeling. It's a
it's
whole
a
lot of
lot of
it's
feelings.
a whole lot of feeling, and we Venus is making that T square up to Jupiter and down to Pluto in Aquarius. That's stationary.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say is with Neptune backing up into that 29th degree and Venus going into Scorpio, I can see it as a big part of ourselves going really deep within, and I see it on a spiritual level. There's been a whole lot that's transpired since Neptune went into Aries and now dipped back in. And
Yeah.
same goes for Venus. She's been going through it and doing her evolving. Well, now she's going to be doing the revealing, the uncovering. She's right there behind. I know Mars, and Mars and Mercury have already moved on into Sag, but I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but basically, I see the Neptune and Venus and the Uranus being almost like going deep within and then having the sudden insight of a creative endeavor that has a spiritual meaning to you. And I
Yeah.
know that may seem a bit weird to say, but it's something that is you've been desiring. It'll be, you think about Scorpio, desire, right? And we're just coming off this Taurus full moon, right? Very sensual, talking about the needs versus the desires. And I think that we're going to be more willing to express our desire to go ahead and create something that fulfills us on a spiritual level. That's
Right.
my input on that. But I think it's gonna be a flash. I think it's gonna be an aha with Uranus. It's gonna go, oh,
Oh,
that's what that was.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll stop rambling. Sorry, guys.
No, no, it's great because I'm looking at Venus in all of her glory, and as she squares, you know, Pluto, which is also Scorpio's um ruler,
Right.
as Venus breaks that square and starts moving and edging forward towards the sun, that tautness between that and the sky is going to slacken a little,
Yeah. Yeah.
gradually slacken over the next, you know, 3.5 months, three
Yeah.
months, 3.5 months. And so that first inconjunct in the water sign, and I'm just going to call it because, you've got Vesta involved, you've got
Mhm.
Ceres involved. These are not Lilith. This
Right.
is not Hecate. This is Vesta and
Hmm.
Ceres, and Juno's making a move towards that
Got a
decan.
whole lot of purity.
Oh yeah, man. Like, so when I look at that
I just saw
north,
like a nun with a ruler. I know that's
yes, yes,
a nun with a ruler.
I bet you $1 billion that by the time Venus makes her rounds and starts crossing over the north node, whatever we're looking at right now may have enough structure that it does look like your spiritual calling actually getting, and all of a sudden I saw Pisces rising, right?
Yeah.
And the whole point of Pisces rising is to understand that over idealizing your first house position, whatever that is, over idealizing it, making it more or less, or avoiding it, or whatever it is. The Pisces rising I saw, it's sort of like, oh, I used my name tag to help others rise.
Yeah.
It's becoming a leader and using
Yeah.
your role, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And all those other all that other action with Mercury and Mars up there in Sag too.
right.
They just left the depths. I mean, I remember sitting and watching that stellium of Juno, of Vesta, of Lilith, Mercury, Mars, all trekking through Scorpio like they were gossiping. They were
Yeah.
gossiping, they were finding facts, they were digging up hidden truths.
Yep.
And now they're in
True
Sag where
intentions.
now now they're in Sag where they can expose and believe,
Yep.
spread the beliefs on it. And Uranus on that other side, backing into Taurus.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Um, yeah, Uranus and Taurus, for those of you that don't know, it's not a comfortable place.
That's
It's
got to be
not
the
a
banking system, don't you think?
yeah. Yeah, I do, but I also you cannot forget about the instability of the earth when Uranus is at that degree.
Please stop just ringing my bell, girl. You just
She's
ringing my bell.
she loves to watch all the earthquakes, fault
I'm
lines.
like the first one to go, look at it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
so
Yeah,
big.
but it also gives it gives a way of like, hey, last second we can really make something solid of this. Yesterday,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get off track a little bit because yesterday, I think what was it? yesterday or the day before we were doing something, and we were in downstairs in the studio. We were covering some things, and I took a quick break. I stepped outside for a minute, and I just started getting flooded with information. And I was being told that essentially us doing this today and the prepping that we were doing ahead of time was exactly where we're supposed to be. And that now that Uranus is backed into Taurus, it is like that final push. Taurus wants everything so comfortable.
Yeah.
The cozy blankets, the sensual touch, the good food, all the good stuff. But it's also tangible resources, right?
Yeah.
What matters to us, and that Uranus backing into that gives that Vesta vision, the Venus vision, the Jupiter, that triangle that grand trine we have going on in the water signs, that creative push, some solid ground, some foundation to actually grow a sustainable thing on. So
I
I
agree with that.
so I encourage any and all of you listening, if you've got this dream that you've been ruminating all as Neptune was going through Pisces over these past, what,
Hmm.
12 years or however long it was, since 2012, right? If you've been dreaming up a dream and you've been holding yourself back, this Uranus backing into Taurus is also putting within your whole being that gusto, to be like, F it, man, I'm gonna do this. And I really
Screw
think
it,
that
and you
it's
jump.
time. It's time. There's no more excuses. That's what this
Yeah.
chart says. There's no more excuses for holding back on what fills your cup, on
Right.
what you need, on that axis, that needs versus desires. They can meet in the middle and
Yeah.
make something absolutely beautiful for you in your future. Stop being afraid to be seen in the light. Stop being afraid to be different, or whatever it is that you're into. Create it, and
Yeah.
it's gonna yield beautiful results. So I keep saying I'm gonna hush
I
up, but I just
completely agree with you. Having that whole hot mess with Mars and Mercury sweeping through Scorpio because, I do read the tarot and I was picking up patterns through the weekly readings
yeah.
about, it would be a lot like this. You find out something by surprise because someone has, oh, yeah, well, they sent me a message 6 months ago. Oh, yeah, well, I put that letter over there. Or making the bed, right? And sticking your
Mhm.
hand between the mattresses, and all of a sudden you find all these credit cards, right? It's a
Yeah.
surprise that you were not expecting. And Scorpio is, I love Scorpio so much because Scorpio is the one that goes in there and goes, you were hiding something from me? Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst disappointment in the world.
What
Worst.
lies beneath?
Man. And then it steps into Sag. And just like you said, the opposition there is so random because I can see the switch up and you have individuals, right? Mars,
Mhm.
that are thinking about what just happened on the other side, the earthquakes in the Philippines. Then they got hit by a typhoon,
Right?
moon conjunct Uranus. There's your atmosphere with
Hmm.
rain and water, a huge flood.
And this
Terrible
was a
what's going
super
on over
moon
there.
we just had. So the
Super
moon's
moon.
closer to the earth. Yeah.
And so you have individuals on the left that see and they come out in droves. They come out in droves, these individuals, to respond to whatever's going on over here in this hot mess when Uranus steps over into Taurus. Um, and it is one of those where, if it's safe, y'all, look, I ain't encourage anybody to go, do some dumb things, please. However, if you are in a position, and I just saw, what's it when you're asleep? Astral travel. That's what I just saw. Astral traveling to help others on the other side of the world. If you have that kind of gift, this is a perfect setup to get your bell rung, where it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, individuals coming to respond again, if it's safe, if it's safe.
Well, and I just also want to point out something that you mentioned. So, if we're talking about the astral realm, if
That's another one I see.
having to do with like astral travel, it made me think of dreaming because I
Mhm.
travel so much in my sleep. I have Neptune and Sag, like in my ninth house, in the first degree of my ninth house. And so when I sleep, I travel everywhere. Like I am always at the ocean. I'm in outer space on different planets.
Didn't you have a dream? Was it last night or the night before? It was the most, I thought it was almost poetic when you were describing it. I'm not going to lie, it was a little romantic. But there she was looking at yourself in the mirror, right?
Oh, that got gross. It wasn't romantic.
I was like, well, in a psychological sort of way, it is because each thing represents something in the real world. And to
Okay,
go to
we'll
sleep,
divulge. We'll divulge. I'll divulge. It's kind of gross, but you know what? You guys are all friends, and why not?
it
Okay.
was great.
So, okay. So in my dream, and it's what woke me up, was that in my dream, I found myself standing in front of my mirror, but I was like really close to the mirror. So much so, like I could see my pores, and I was like, where did that big old pimple looking thing come from, like on my
Oh,
nose? So
the
you brought
pimple.
this up.
I
I told
thought the
you.
mirror part was romantic.
Okay, well, the mirror, like I was looking at myself, and you can think about dream symbology, right? Yes. So I am looking at my own reflection, as within, so without. Yeah, well, okay. All right. But I'm looking in the mirror and I barely touch my nose, and all
Gross.
this stuff starts coming out of it, but it was like a purge. See,
It was like a
no,
purge.
you brought up the dream. I didn't even want to go there, but I did. But anyways, it is very almost scorpionic because
It
it was,
really is. The
I did
purge.
like it, but it was an effortless purge. And like, it's not even a problem that I have. So it was really kind of just a weird thing. But I was like, it was so gross. It woke me up. I'm like, oh, creeped out my Virgo, but
I thought it was great because it was
but
like Harry Potter. She has a dream where she's looking in the mirror. That's
I
some
don't
Harry
never
Potter
I
stuff. You
never
know what I
dream of
mean? Like,
myself looking in the mirror. That was really weird. But
I loved
what I
it.
was getting at before we got into that really gross stuff was about Sagittarius being travel, right? So ruled by Jupiter, Sag is all about getting out, adventuring, traveling, knowledge,
Hmm.
exploring higher knowledge, and traveling the nether realms,
Did
like
I tell you?
meditation and whatever. You could actually go to different dimensions and realms and stuff. So this time with Mercury and Mars right there. Yeah, and Neptune backed up into Pisces definitely talks about the ability with that trine, that ability to actually be able to help something manifest for you, and good meditation or whatever. So, anyways, don't be afraid to explore, even if it comes to learning things about stuff you don't know anything about or may think is a little taboo.
I was reading Dane Rudyard, I think earlier, maybe over the weekend. Anyway,
I was
um,
too.
he speaks about that Sagittarius energy and its purpose because Sagittarius is sort of, what would you say with the machete? I grew up in Florida, so learned all about Ponce de Leon. And they had to clear all that jungle with a machete. And whatever is found gets pitched over to Saturn, so Saturn can gives it to the moon because the entire chart is working for the moon. That's what Dane Rudyard says. The moon is hungry. The moon
Oh,
needs to be able to reflect the sun. And so Saturn, it's, Capricorn's job to take care of Cancer. That's the way that works. And Jupiter is the one that has to go find. I mean, it's kind of scary, right? Like, hey guys, we've never been to the other side of the Americas. Can you just start heading in that direction?
Yeah.
If you come back, you come back. It's
It's
just,
all about perspectives. It gives you different perspectives. And
it's
from a,
supposed to.
yeah,
And when I read that part, I was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense because it's a seeker. It's a seeker kind of energy. And I know for a fact that Mercury is a seeker energy. So it's like individuals who are seeking outside of the parameters
hmm,
that they usually do. And what do they find? Oh, I don't know. The moon and Uranus. Boom.
yeah,
The door
right.
is wide open
It
for
is
them
wide
to
open. I am
see
also
something
going
different.
something different for sure. I would also point out that Mercury is not in its dignity in Sagittarius. It's actually it's in its exile, right? So Mercury is ruled by Gemini, which is on the opposite side of the chart.
I can
Okay.
see that.
And so Mercury and Sag people, I don't think that I'm just picking on you. There's always a high octave and a lower octave or expression of how something plays out. But one thing to be careful about for the next little bit, because Mercury's going to retrograde back into Scorpio and then come back into
Yeah.
Sag, is that when Mercury is in Sag, so Mercury in Scorpio keeps secrets. Mercury in Sag
Sets them
tells.
free like
It's like
birds out the window. Fly.
it's like show and tell,
Oh, it's
right? Like,
terrible.
so be careful what's being divulged to you or how you're divulging something, because just because something is a belief does not mean that it is fact.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing I would say about Mercury. People are going to be very opinionated. That's
Yeah.
not going to slow down. It's going to
I
get
mean, the
loud.
other part, with the sun in Scorpio is people don't all handle their challenges the same.
Right.
And so when they begin to move with power, Scorpio already identifies that others are involved
Yeah.
and they're going to be affected. So you can see that right there with the sun moving into position to trine Neptune. Everyone's, like you said, they're all going to handle the fog, the leadership, and the responsibility required while standing amidst a mystery, something vague. It's a lot like somebody waking up for the first time, except they're on the other side of the veil, you know?
Yeah.
And it's that kind of strange where you are Harry Potter and a train depot and um, you have to make a choice. I think some folks, it's like you said, they're just going to know internally. And then for other folks, there's going to be something in the physical that I guess has to happen for them to snap out of it
Yeah.
and say, regardless, my responsibility is my responsibility, or we can't get out from under this, or it's going to be that reality thing that happens in the physical.
Yeah, and I would totally agree with you on all of that, Miriam. I would definitely also just like to point out that with let's just say with Venus getting ready to move into Scorpio and it's going to be squaring Pluto in Aquarius, um and squaring Jupiter in Cancer, which is all about home, okay?
Mm.
Beliefs at home, God at home, all that stuff, all the nurturance. There, watch out for power struggles, okay? If you're gonna fight fair, right?
Not fair.
You're gonna fight fair. It's not gonna lie, there might be some big tensions in relationships, Okay.
Sometimes when that much tension shows up, there's a lot of love going on.
It's kind of that fight and
We
F
can either fight
energy.
or,
Yeah.
do you really,
Yeah.
let's flip a quarter.
What do Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? Like it is
Oh,
like
exactly. That's
Mr. and
it.
Mrs. Smith. Okay.
That's
So
it. That's it. That's it.
well, I think we've kind of pounded the chart out and what transits are
Yeah.
coming up, babe.
Let's,
Let's get into some fun stuff, more funner. Like this isn't fun. I
yeah,
love it.
we've got some fun
Unless you
stuff.
had something else to say, I'm kind of done with the chart.
No, 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 no. I think you and I could have probably just kept talking and talking and talking about the chart.
That's us on an
Um,
everyday basis.
Aries, this week, agility is your word. Your ruler Mars is opposing Uranus, so the spins are real for you. Go with the flow, because Uranus don't give up. Taurus, grounding is the word for you this week, Taurus. Just because someone is able doesn't mean we add more to the plate. Keep it simple and keep it stable. Hold steady. Gemini, clarity belongs to you this week. Conversations are flying everywhere right now like little birds in motion. It can create misunderstandings if you don't say it simply. Cancer, nurture is your word this week. Everyone's got a thing happening, and trusting that each person is handling their world can mix you this way and that. Care begins within means that the very best you can give this week is you, centered, calm, and ready, no matter what. Leo, focus for you this week is going to be different and difficult. This ain't no popcorn machine. Best to work out one thing at a time as people start pitching. Virgo, trust that things are good enough. Your ruler is in Sagittarius now with Mars. It's more about moving things along than it is nitpicking to perfection. You can catch up to those minor details later. Libra, balance sucks, Libra, especially when where you put your mind and focus matters to the entire team involved. Keep it even with your relationships and your work time. Your ruler Venus is preparing to leave your sign, and after pondering on your relationships, what's fair is only fair. Scorpio, depth demands vulnerability, Scorpio. And if you have close loved ones who are digging deep for you, the idea here is reciprocity. Just because they're earning your trust doesn't mean that your partner trusts you. Open up a little, give a little back. Sagittarius, expansion is great and everything, Sagittarius, but without a focal point, it's just more stuff in your head, in your house, in your closet, in your car. Things that spill over need a cap on it or a new container. Make the time to keep your in order as you grow. Capricorn, steadiness means you have the wheel, Capricorn. And if you have the wheel, then steer this thing in any direction you feel is right. The moment is close for you to do that emperor thing you do. No more doubting. You were right from the start. They can all catch up and see how it's done. For now, prepare to engage and make a conscious choice. Aquarius, openness means allowing the upgrades to become upgrades instead of continually repeating yourself. Nothing changes unless something changes. When the new idea starts showing up, it'll be your pick. Don't avoid it. Make a choice. Pisces, inspiration fuels your world, and you can spin entire realms from it. But dreams need roots. Choose one or two brave steps each day, and by week's end, you'll see how much you've grounded your vision while still reaching for the sky. So, we have a tarot card for the week that we've chosen, and we're using James R. Eads' card, the Knight of Pentacles, from his, I think it's Visions deck, his Visions tarot deck. It's one of my favorite like styles, and it's got a lot of like impressionist art to it. But this card is very unique. Let me read what shows up in his little booklet, and it'll point it out. The Knight of Pentacles, a blood red knight, sits immured, which means secluded or isolated. in his armor, glittering pentacle propped up as his shield. He peers out from his helmet, eyes narrowed, looking for danger, but for all his awareness, he seems totally oblivious to the fact that his steed is the legendary unicorn, nuzzling dispiritedly, which means downhearted, among the strawberries. The knight's bare feet also belie his lackluster attention to detail. When a true calamity does befall him, he will be woefully underprepared. The knight is a conflicted creature. Having attained no small degree of success, he grows dependent on the tokens that have carried him safely thus far. He no longer sees their interconnected beauty, merely their utility. He is
Mm.
fixated on furthering his causes. If you pull this knight in a reading, know that you may need to back off a little. Take a broader view. Appreciate the magic that makes your lifestyle possible. Otherwise, you will face a I think it's a pyrrhic, but it means hollow, empty, pointless victory,
Right.
devoid of meaning or gratification.
I really love that. I love that description of it because it really speaks to how, especially if you think about pentacles being the earth element of the zodiac. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn talks about possessions, right? Like stacking your possessions so much so that you could have everything in the world, but the end of life, how much did you attain other than what, what purposes all your stuff has, It's I really like that interpretation of
You know,
that
the
night.
card speaks to me of um I've always known that the Knight of Pentacles is a dreamer. It's just, you have the Knight of Cups who's a dreamer and tells, everybody and goes to dinner and celebrates, right? And then the next
Mostly
morning he sleeps in, that
emotional.
sort of thing. The Knight of Pentacles is a dreamer to me because he's saving. He's got his little bag of coins, usually. It's a bag of coins, and he's looking out over the field. So not only is he dreaming, he's preparing.
He's
You know, he
acquiring. Yeah.
he's do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I need that book and I need that file and um but like reading James R. Eads' description of this card,
Hmm.
you have the dreamer, except he's barefoot. Kind of like, how far are you going to get down the road, man?
There's going to be rocks. You're going to have to walk on rocks.
No
Yeah.
joke. Like, no
Like,
store in their right mind, no store is going to let you go in there and get a Coke without shoes. So, really, how far are you going to get? And,
yeah.
but he also has like the pentacle. So, to me, he's like saving money. He's counting how much do I need for this and how much do I need for that, like a typical earth sign would do,
Hmm.
like doing your homework, except adding a budget.
Right. And then talking about what was that part about? There, I'm pulling it back up myself. Uh, Talking about like so busy collecting. Where was it at here? You probably remember the part. Oh yeah, otherwise you will face pyrrhic, which is like empty, pointless victory, devoid of any
Hmm.
meaning or gratitude. It's kind of like, okay, you're so fixated on furthering your cause, where is it really gratifying, you know, at the night level. Yeah.
It could also be someone who's like, one of those lifetime students that are in college nonstop and they don't ever get out.
Right.
And you're like, hey, you going to take them skills out into the big wide world? And no,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And I'm just gonna sit here on my slow, steady horse and look pretty.
yeah. And just keep getting, not to say that isn't a beautiful dream. I
No,
myself would love that kind of dream.
it is also getting a little too comfortable in
Yeah,
getting stuck, getting
yeah.
stuck in the mud a little bit out of fear of, actually. expressing any kind of purpose.
Yeah. And I think that for me came up because of the full moon in Taurus, that's going on right now as we speak.
As we're recording
But
it.
that Mercury piece of, it's missing that. Did you get your shoes? Because I can tell you're not wearing shoes.
Yeah, and it's almost a lot like too, like the Three of Pentacles, like that vibe that you're expressing is almost like that. Um, it's not quite an artisan, right? Like it's an apprentice level.
Yeah, it's an apprentice level, but at least he knows how to put his armor on. And that's usually foundational.
Yeah.
First day, basic training. They're handing you your clothes and your boots.
I think it's interesting that in this deck that the author writes it as being barefooted, um, because I mean, it really does make me think about, when people need to ground because they really, don't have their ducks in a row or
Yeah,
little too riley for their own good. And sometimes actually just putting your bare feet in the grass, in the
yeah.
earth can help ground and give some of that stability, to help you
I
come
think
up with
that
the
sensation of touch also with
Oh
his
yeah.
barefoot, um, you would know if you got off the unicorn to stand on ground that you thought was good to plant in.
Mhm.
It's going to have a certain smell and a certain touch. And just the touch factor for me also comes out with the bare feet because you'd know if you got down, it was swamp.
I really love too that he brought up that the knight's horse is really a unicorn. And you
Yeah.
see that depicted here in this picture because in a way it's like the whole idea of tangible manifestation, right?
Yeah.
And the night level, you could have all the drive and determination and whatever, and you can
Yeah.
have all the tools like the magician, but if you don't know how to use them like the
Yeah.
King of Pentacles would, that manifestation, if you don't know how to embody it fully, that manifestation is not going to come to be very easily. So,
Yeah. That's why this card kind of came out to me is that we're getting there. We're getting prepared. And you
yeah.
look at the chart when Venus starts moving through Scorpio, um, it's difficult when if there's, I'm just going to say it, if people are not good at sharing,
Oh,
you come back as a Taurus or a Scorpio. Okay, I'm saying it. If you
hey,
have an issue with sharing,
I agree with that one. I agree with that
you're
one.
going to come back as a Scorpio or a Taurus. So with this, it also could be like division of assets for me as well. Kind of like your
Hmm.
strawberries are here, mine are over here. And when I was writing, actually using Armstrong, who is my AI, and um, I was letting him check my writing and tell me if I missed something. And we started talking about the Mercury uh, being opposite Uranus and Taurus, like that. And there is this sense of going into yourself and considering taking something into consideration that would take form like that. Um, that first quadrant in the chart, it's uh, it's ruled by Aries, so there's Yang attached to it, and I think the Taurus Earth sign Capricorn piece of this would also say, yes, you're learning, but you're also in kind of a lab. It's your first chance to put this all together. And sometimes you hit, your thumb with the hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all done that. That hurts. I
So
have
give
a
yourself a little grace.
yeah. And
Don't,
and
yeah.
and rather than being well, another thing that I'm getting with this Knight of Pentacles is rather than showing up and holding the ego as if you already know how to do everything and
Yeah.
you have everything that you need. I'm getting the visualization of the strawberries, okay? So the strawberry is one of the most exposed fruits.
Mhm.
Everything else has a pill, right?
Yeah.
Strawberries are exposed in their full fruit form with their seeds on the outside. They're totally vulnerable to the environments, right?
Yeah.
And they're also ready to sprout and seed. So it talks about not being selfish. Okay, I'm getting all of this all right here. So if it seems out of order, I'm sorry. But like it speaks to not being selfish and to sharing and being
Sharing.
opening that vulnerability to the outward world. And the strawberry, its seeds, it could get smashed by the horse trampling on it, right?
Yeah.
But what's it doing? It's seeding the earth, and there's
Yeah.
going to be more strawberries, to share with whoever else.
Yeah.
Okay, my weird little point. Sorry. Yeah, I love the impressionist, the mosaic art with the
Yeah.
single,
I thought it was really cool.
not picking up the pen stroke. That's beautiful.
So we're gonna like step into the news portion and
Learn about some
let's
blue dogs
get
in
ready to
Chernobyl.
do that. So guys, they found some blue dogs in Chernobyl and yeah,
Go figure. Not zombies this time, but just blue dogs. I'll
blue
take it any
dogs.
day. On October 29th, UPI, a nonprofit taking care of dogs in Ukraine's Chernobyl exclusion zone, are trying to solve the mystery of why some of the canines have turned completely blue. Dogs of Chernobyl, which is affiliated with Clean Features Fund charities, says workers were out trying to trap dogs to be spayed and neutered in the Chernobyl area recently when they spotted unusually colored canines. Say that 10 times fast. Local
Do you re-
residents say the dogs had not been blue 1 week earlier. The approximate 700 dogs living in Chernobyl exclusion area are descendants of the pets that were abandoned when the area was evacuated during the nuclear power plant meltdown in 1986. Man, those are pretty dogs.
I mean, seriously, that can't be good.
I'm
Whatever
trying to
that
think of what health, like what makes people turn blue? Oh, then you think of like Willy Wonka in the chocolate
is.
factory. Was her name Veruca Salt or
Veruca salt. Yeah,
yeah,
Veruca
she
salt.
turned the blueberries, she turned blue. I wonder what causes that because just last week, and this is the first time evidently that they've ever turned blue. What in the environment?
I
But
mean,
also
what if they went
also
swimming in blue water somewhere? But that would be bad too if the radiation
yeah,
got in the water.
in like an exclusion zone. But I mean, I'd really have to think about it. But that whole Uranus and Taurus, wasn't that
Yeah, because Taurus would rule the
1986?
dog.
Wouldn't that have been like, oh, no.
I remember that. I remember I was little, but I do remember when Chernobyl went off. Yeah.
I mean, it takes 84 years to transit, so it wasn't in Taurus, but that seems very Uranian to me. Oh,
Yes, very Uranian.
no. Is
Poracitos.
that a blue healer?
I wonder, I just, I have so many questions. Like, is it contagious? Are the blue dogs running around to everybody's like neighborhood? Um,
Wow. That's kind
yeah.
of really Taurus, though. Like,
Yeah, it's a Taurus thing. But Uranus at the same time. They told us we were going to see weird stuff. You
that is
know, they
definitely
told us.
weird.
This
Definitely
one I
weird.
love. Go do this one because I love this one
Oh, yeah. D&D.
from psychiatrist.com. So it's valid, y'all. I don't want to hear it.
Okay. So, study finds Dungeons and Dragons boost mental health.
No
Clin-
joke.
yeah, clinical relevance. So, research at University College Cork found that playing Dungeons and Dragons benefits mental health by providing escapism, self-exploration, and social support. The game's collaborative and
Mhm.
creative nature fosters a sense of control and emotional connection, helping players deal with real-life feelings of powerlessness. D&D has seen a resurgence, particularly during the pandemic, with increased popularity highlighting its therapeutical potential for emotional and social development. The study also suggests a wider adoption of therapeutic role-playing games globally, as they aid in skills development, problem solving, and meaningful social connections.
Yeah, like
And
if you took that really broad step back through Jupiter and looked at it that way,
mm,
it would change culture around the idea of this.
yeah.
Do you remember that Dungeons and Dragons when you were a kid?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe even not so much when I was a kid. I was always outside playing and doing my thing. But I do know I had an old friend that actually her boyfriend played that and Magic, and they had a group of friends that once a week they'd all meet up and play, and they had all their dice and all their cards and all that. And back then I was like, well, that's quite nerdy, but okay, I'll sit here and watch. But then
Right.
look what I do now. I look at all archetypes and mythology.
Right. Translating art every 5 seconds.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I am a nerd.
I thought this was really cool because I grew up in one of those households where there was religious trauma,
Mm,
and this was not allowed. It was
mm.
like, don't even
Looked
say the word. Don't even
yeah,
say the
I
words.
remember it kind of being thought of as taboo a little bit too, which I didn't quite understand.
Yes. And it wasn't until I was like in my early 40s, actually, that I discovered what it really was. And I
Mm.
was like, oh, okay. So you guys are playing G.I. Joes with different characters.
That
Um,
Taurus Scorpio axis, some role play, baby.
exactly. Those conferences that people go to and they have the outfits. Um, I love them. People it reminds me of the Renaissance. That just reminds me of the Renaissance
Yeah,
because all
yeah.
of a sudden people were allowed to wear clothes that made them feel like themselves. Before that, the church wouldn't allow it. And then in the 1500s, during the Renaissance, all of a sudden you see color, Shakespeare, all the weird styles of clothes. And so this is like one of those things where it busts out and it allows us to see that Sagittarius Jupiter part about what this really is. It's GI Joes with a map and requires people to all come together in the same room. Because I remember talking about it with someone, and they did in the 80s. It's just like it says, friends, and we're all going to gather at the same time. That community, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. As you're talking about that, I mean, I'm thinking Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter type stuff
Yes.
where, you have your Hogwarts, groups and
Yes.
yeah, all that. And the hobbits.
And the hobbits, but it's like all that Uranus, Aquarius community feel to it. Um,
Mm,
Finding common ground and then gathering around the idea of it. It's really
mm.
cool. And then it leads us to our next story, which you're welcome. I love this one. So, teens
Yes.
toilet paper rolled a police station. This is how the officers got revenge. So read it, man.
So November the 1st, every Halloween, teens in Heflin, Alabama, keep a light-hearted tradition of toilet papering a few houses around their town. But this year they went a little too far when they decided to target the Heflin Police Department itself. It was up on the roof, the spare cars in the parking lot. They got us good, the police chief Ross McGlon says. But we had to do something. You know, who you are And while you might want to put that PlayStation controller down for a week, we're children of the 80s and 90s. We perfected this craft years ago. So, in true spirit of Halloween mischief, the officers plotted their revenge by toilet papering the teens' homes in return. It may not be the usual form of law enforcement, but it worked. As long as they're doing this, they're not getting into trouble doing something else, McLaughlin said with a laugh. I haven't seen any drugs or alcohol involved. Honestly, I think they're spending all their money on toilet paper.
On toilet paper. Look at that hot mess. I love it. I love it. Community, right? Uranus.
He's got all those roles. You saw
In
who did
his
the
arms, I
majority of,
know. It's
yeah, he was
crazy.
doing the majority of the mischief right there.
And it's disposable.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's
Excuse me.
see.
We got monkeys.
Monkeys, this one.
I'm sure many of you have probably already heard this one. But we got monkeys escape after a truck overturns on the Mississippi Highway. There's 3 still missing. That was as of October 29th. Monkeys being transported Tuesday on a Mississippi highway escaped after the truck carrying them overturned. And all but 3 that have gotten out have since been killed, authorities said. The crash happened approximately 100 miles from the state capital of Jackson. It's not clear what caused the truck to overturn. Videos showed monkeys crawling through the tall grass on the side of the Interstate 59, just north of Heidelberg, Mississippi, with wooden crates labeled as live animals
That's
crumpled and
terrible.
strewn about. The Jasper County Sheriff's Department says the rhesus monkeys were
Yeah.
from Tulane University and initially wrote on a post on Facebook that they're aggressive to humans and require PPE to
PPE to
handle.
handle.
We all remember the PPE from the lockdown,
That's right.
right? The
That's funny.
department did later release on Facebook that there are still 3 monkeys on the loose after the officials from Tulane were able to get inside the truck and get a correct head count. It's not clear how many monkeys were originally in the truck or how many were
Or how
killed.
many they were killed.
Yeah, how many were killed, but basically they were known to have multiple different diseases. They were test monkeys. That's why they were like, you need to have proper PPE to handle it. But that's like 12 monkeys did it. Reminds me of that Contagion
Terrible.
movie back in the 90s with Bruce Willis.
You missed it. The last video right over here on the right, it said they was monkeys everywhere. Like, oh my goodness, y'all from the South. It
I would
ain't
love to
so.
see that.
There'd be monkeys
That
everywhere.
would be a funny clip.
That'd be
They're just monkeying
awesome.
around.
Oh, this one you found, which was fantastic, I thought.
Oh, very Taurian
Very Taurian
and Piscean.
and just weird.
Would you look at that?
Hard pass. Holiday Inn Express launches bacon scented alarm clock.
Gets me every time, the smell of bacon.
This hot mess.
So, Holiday Inn Express has unveiled a world's first hotel experience intended to transform mornings. Select Holiday Inn Express properties will be getting scent-based breakfast alarm clocks. So, rather than an in-room alarm clock that wakes you up with the loud beeps, these alarm clocks will instead wake you up with a preferred aroma, gently roused each morning by a diffuser-style scented alarm.
Alarm. That's what it
Guests
looks like.
Look at that. That's
That's
crazy.
what it looks like. Breakfast
Guest,
alarm.
guests will be able to choose their preferred breakfast scent for their alarm
What
clock.
is that? It's look, coffee, a muffin,
Coffee,
and bacon.
coffee, bacon, and blueberry muffin will be the scents in Australia
What?
and New Zealand. Pear will be available in Japan, and mango will be available in Singapore and Thailand. Amba, we need to come stay at a Holiday Inn Express in New Zealand,
Right?
by
In New
dear.
Zealand. We'll let you smell the bacon and the blueberry muffin, and that'd be terrible. Look, I'm just, the bacon, you wake up and you're like, oh my God, bacon,
Well, it says that there's for sure those new breakfast alarm clocks will be available as of October the 20th, 2025 for a limited time in Australia, New Zealand, and Japan, and select Thailand and Singapore. Hey, I think that says all properties. Who needs to hurry up and get here? But
Right.
that is so tourist, right? All the good tastes and smells and senses.
Exact. And the food part as well, just thrown in there. I
The,
think everything we've seen had that Uranus Taurus thing attached to it.
just about be like, I smell bacon. Does anybody else smell bacon?
Right. Be like, dog, y'all tricked me. That's
And
what that would be.
they better have bacon down in the continental dang breakfast. Otherwise,
Maybe
I'd be
they, captured the smells from their continental breakfast,
hmm.
trapped it, put it in some oil, and now we got an alarm clock.
Ooh, but it could also be the hotel staff not wanting stragglers later in breakfast. There's always that
Yep,
bunch of families that heads down there right last second, half asleep and wanting all the
exactly.
food. Get them in and out quick.
They're wanting to go home, and here comes 15 people. Like, oh, my bad. Okay, seriously, just because we're here,
Hmm.
earthquakes, people, earthquakes. Because I don't know if you know that Thailand has been hit really hard with the earthquakes. Look at this, even just today, a major magnitude 6.8 earthquake hit the Caribbean.
Ooh.
Afghanistan had a big one too. These earthquakes are rolling in faster and faster and faster and faster. It's kind of scary, especially for those of you that live over in Asia. And if you are part of that, we send you all of our love and our light.
They've really been getting pounded over that way,
They
like
really have.
Japan, I believe too, all of them.
They really have. I think the whole Pacific Fire Rim there thing, it's been over on the west side for us. It's been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And there's certain movements that are going on now in Oregon where there's really large um, cuts into the land, and you could see the separation. I don't know if that makes sense
Yeah.
because one side's
Oh,
pulling and the other side's ripping.
look at that. Midland, Texas, 1 hour ago. Two,
Oh, look at that. I love you.
say it.
Okay, so in the middle of recording all of this for you guys, Iris came up and was putting her snout underneath my elbow and trying to pull me and pull me. Well, for those of you that don't know, we had another Belgian Malinois. His name is Tater, and he transitioned and he does visit. But he had done that to us once before with Jamie Setzer. She was here to visit me, and we all went outside, right? Here's Tater hurting us, and she witnessed him doing it. Um, when I came back to check, there had been 3 hours from us an earthquake, like a 4.3 that went off like 3 hours from us.
Yeah, trying to
So
get you outside.
Iris was trying to get us outside just a minute ago and trying to hurt us out. And yeah, 1 hour ago, Midland is about 2.5 hours from us. So
Mm,
2.2 magnitude, not really that strong, but if she can feel that,
mm.
then it's earthquake season, y'all.
Yeah, and especially with Uranus backing up into Taurus, I can't help but worry about that place right there. It came to my
Yep,
head 3 times as you were talking, and then you pointed right at it.
San
San
Francisco.
Francisco. Yeah, I'm worried about a big one there.
Yeah.
You know, but it's always they always happen, but it just seems like
They've
Earth,
been getting stronger and faster.
yeah, Gaia's packing some extra punches lately.
Yeah, she is. And it's time, when the land is trying to, and I can see her, stretching because it's uncomfortable. I don't know if that makes sense or if
Yeah, it
that,
does. Like a band snapping. Like,
yeah, like a band snapping,
yeah.
but it's in a bad spot or a bad position. Oh, this is the one up in Kamchatsky. Kamchatsky. Yeah. Why are they making it sound like it's the hardest thing to say? Petropavlovsk, Kamchatsky. That's where they had that 8.8 earthquake last month, I want to say. And it's not done rumbling. It's still rocking in a very large, and I never knew it would be Russia that started this hot mess over here by the Kuri Kamchatka trench. No, this trench right here, that's bad news. Okay. It's the thinnest part of our planet. And if something bad happens here, I guess I'll see y'all on the ship,
They're
the
by
Three Eye
here.
Atlas that Heather keeps telling me, you know, it's her boyfriend. Her boyfriend's back and we're gonna be in trouble. The Three
It's
Eye
a joke
Atlas.
because like I can't help but with the three eye atlas thing, I can't help but think of what is that kids show? It's a movie, but Guardians of the Galaxy. I
Yeah,
can't help
yes.
but think of him
Yes.
with his tape deck, you know. But then
Yes.
also like so the way that Three Eye Atlas is exiting when it exits the Milky Way, it's going to happen at 14 degrees Cancer. And my IC is 11 Cancer, my
Yeah.
Venus is 15 Cancer. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I joke that it's my space boyfriend coming to pick me up.
Anything could happen. Uranus. I don't
I
know
got
if
an
it's
Aquarius moon. I'm down for a space travel. Why not?
like we've noticed it quite a bit with Uranus just flipping and changing people's minds in a heartbeat. And it's like they're so sure
Yeah.
when it happens and it feels divine in a very large way, like somebody takes you by the shoulder and just turns you toward exactly the way you're supposed to go.
It's like
And
almost a guided permission to be like, it's okay to let go of that old thing. It's
yeah,
okay.
or it's okay to change your mind.
Yeah.
You have the right to whatever. And it's so clear that, I mean, just a couple of hours ago, we thought we were going to have to move again. And I was like, oh my God. And all of a sudden,
Woo. This is my Neptune line, so I just have no choice but to go with the waves. Ooh, look at
right?
that. Look at that halo on my I
Look
got
at
an
the
aura off
halo.
my
Oh,
hand.
the aura off your hands. That's so cool, man. The other
Oh.
thing that I've noticed for about 2 years now, um, no, no, no. I got to go back to like 4 years. No, 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 no. The day that you're finally able to read the Terra and then you realize you can't read for yourself. And you're like, seriously? All that hard work because you were curious, right? And you were a student and you had a desire. And then as soon as you do it,
Yeah,
nope.
let's slide into that conversation.
Oh, psh,
From
yay.
earthquakes to sliding into that conversation. Just because, like I understand that anybody that's listening to us, isn't probably just listening only for astrology. They're listening for the spiritual part of it too. And,
Right.
we're all coming into our own and evolving with our spiritual gifts. And yeah, let's share that because you had it happen to you. I had it happen to me to where I was initially drawn to the tarot. The tarot came to me. Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way. The tarot came to me. Everything I do came to me. And it was like, okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I learned. And
Hmm.
was able to read for myself, so much so that it went boom. And it's because tarot is more of, rather than just being a prediction, it is a inner reflection. It's an inner mirror with all of the archetypal knowledge that's in it. There came a point where I really like, and I didn't even read for myself very often, but it came to a point where when I did want to read for myself, my guides were like, uh,
Nope.
it'd pick up a whole different storyline of
Nope.
somebody else that was in the room, in the next room, somebody else in my life. It would show me
Hmm.
their story, and I'm like, oh no. And it's so frustrating. I went years like that. And I was like, you mean to tell me I spent all this time learning this? I have all these decks, and they're just going to sit right here for like 3 years.
Oh, terrible.
Unless it is so fucking
Terrible.
so
It's a
frustrating.
spiritual gift because now the only way it works, there is no other way for it to work once you get it. There is no other way.
It's for everybody else. And that's what my
It's
guides
meant
told
for
me.
everyone else
It's
except you.
it's for you to help others with. And then
That's it.
as that
You know,
happened, right as it was happening, astrology was nonstop. Carl Jung's shadow work was nonstop.
yeah.
Everything, the red book, going through to all that stuff, but
Isaac
in
Newton,
astrology, I can use
King
for myself.
George the Third, you know, so many scientists, mathematicians. Yeah,
So
but
if
you
you're
got
one,
your first deck. Weren't you a teenager?
no, I didn't get my first tarot deck until 2018 is when I got my tarot deck.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
started picking them up in late 2016.
yeah. It was
And my grandfather was a 33rd Mason, right?
so cool.
And he would come to me in my dreams, and I didn't know what it was back then, but he stayed by my side. His presence like palpable. I never met the guy personally, but he'd show up for 3 years, like downloads of Terra stuff. And I'd wake up, you know how you do when they do the downloads, and you're like, what? Because it's this vision
Fast.
and real fast. And then you're so tired the rest of the day, and you're thinking about a grandfather you never met
Yeah.
handing you tarot cards and showing you with his hand, this goes to this, goes to this, almost as if all of your ancestral knowledge
Hmm.
is being plugged in while we sleep. And it took me several years to accept that that's what was happening
I
because
think I
I
realized
kept
that it
going,
was,
my grandfather's here.
yeah, yeah. I think it was more like my guides knew how. See, my reawakening, I call it a reawakening or a remembrance because I had all of my gifts from a young age, and I like purposely shut them off, like especially when I had kids,
Mm,
because I was a
yeah.
new mom, and I was like, I don't have time for all you spirits to be talking to me and coming to me. I don't, like I can't handle that. And but it's almost like my guides eased me into it, but it
Mm,
was so weird because I was not into crystals. I mean, yeah, I'd always pick up rocks wherever I went and had certain favorites, but like crystals and then the tarot, it's like they wanted it to be foundational and to have me learn the elements
yeah.
before jumping straight into being able to delineate astrology charts and stuff. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you all a little fine secret that very, very, very few people know about me and Miriam. So in 2018, I had gone through quite a bit of, stuff, traumatic stuff and heartbreak and, losing family members and things. And I really needed a whole lot of help. And it was actually at that point where I was kind of like, when you have no other choice than to be tired of your own shit. And
Yeah.
I was like, there's got to be some patterning here. because although I don't think that I'm, doing things wrong or whatever, these patterns, these things keep happening and I've
Yeah.
got to figure it out. And so it kind of brought me into that. And I was like, well, I don't really have the money for a paid reading or anything. Let me just look on YouTube and I'm going to
Mm.
Google free psychic readings. And that's what I did. And I'll be damned, tarot readings came up and I was like, this is a thing? Like, people
Yeah.
really do this on YouTube? What is this?
I didn't
Okay,
know either.
I'll be your huckleberry. So I
Right? You're like,
the first one I was like, ooh, I can't even handle this person's voice. I Virgoed it. I went right to the next one. The next
yeah.
one was this lady right over here, Miriam. Miriam was reading the tarot and she was doing general readings.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to it and I'm like, how do you know my story to a T? How are you saying it, like getting to the exact nuts and bolts of exactly what I needed? I was like, whoa, subscribe. And so like I like learned from her by proxy, through YouTube. And like when I say I learned, I didn't take any of their courses, which she does have a tarot course. We're gonna do
Actually,
all that
yeah,
later.
because okay, not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna be able to find the videos from those tarot classes that I did years ago. And guess what I could not find, which means we're gonna have some tarot classes,
We're gonna
y'all,
do it.
except
Yeah.
Heather's gonna teach it with me
Yeah.
because I love my tarot curriculum. It took 2 years to build that, don't you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a good one. It's a really, really, I've had some of the most incredible healers go through that tarot course. And um, they asked for a second curriculum for
Oh,
me
okay.
to build a second curriculum. So maybe one day.
We'll
Um,
definitely get there. What I was going to say is the learning the astrology. I watched you, Miriam, for a good couple years, and at first it was like I was watching all of them, right? And then it kind of
yeah.
gradually died down because I'm not gonna lie, it pissed me plumb off when I couldn't read for myself anymore. And so I kind of set the tarot down. So I set the tarot down,
Oh,
shy of reading for other people when
like
they
once
wanted
you
readings.
learn it, you can't unlearn it.
I know, but I mean,
You're like,
I set it down as far as the videos go, and I started getting into, like I said, astrology more so and all that. Fast forward to 2023. Okay, still wasn't watching tarot readers or anything like that. I was just like constantly self teaching myself astrology, learning, and I still do the same thing every day. I'm a forever student. But 2023, about October, September of 2023, Miriam just happened to be doing a live. And since I was already a sub like forever ago, it popped up as a live. So I clicked into it and her and a few of the tarot friends were doing live readings, hopping around. And I started talking about astrology in the live chat. And before I knew it, at that point, it was JD that was like, hey,
yeah,
Miriam, there's this girl, Woke.Ones.Revolution, that's in there talking about astrology, and you invited me to your astrology group. And
yeah,
so I met her in October, and by what was it, after probably April or March, April, May, we started
yeah,
becoming
March
friends to where we were talking like all the time.
every
And
day.
then like the astrology group kind of faded out, but like yeah, we just became sisters.
Oh, I have no doubt.
And
Those
how
groups,
funny that all these years later, like I'm just gonna tell you all some beautiful,
magic.
beautiful magic was done because so April the 8th, I'm gonna just divulge my story here. April the 8th of 2024, as you all remember, there was a great eclipse in America, right? One of the
Yes.
eclipses in America. It was the second part of the X that
Mm-hmm.
crossed right over Texas, and it was a new moon solar eclipse, total solar eclipse at
Mm-hmm.
19 degrees Aries. You know why I remember 19 degrees Aries is because that's my ascendant degree.
Yeah.
So literally that eclipse since April 8th of 2024, my whole life has changed. I ended up homeless
Yeah.
and like had a place to stay, got a place to stay with some family and family friends, and that suddenly abruptly ended, and then I was going to be homeless again. And Miriam was like, you
I was
know,
like, I guess we're business partners now, buddy.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean it's one of those things. I've got some other things I'm leaving out of there that played into my decision to make that kind of a big move because I
it
don't
was
make big
big,
moves easy. But
brave.
yeah, like I had another break in relationship, in um health and mindset and all the things, and I'm like, I've been doing this. We've been recording Real World Astrology for about a year now,
Mm,
just about a year now.
on and off, yeah.
We've got all of our old videos that are available on Woke.Ones.Revolution, and yeah, for Real World Astrology. So funny
Yeah.
that that X goes right over where
We
her
are
house is.
standing right now. Yeah.
That X marked the spot.
I was in this house when both of them went over, and I, you know, I have so many words to say about this because Leo energy gets such a hard time. Um, Probably because it's squaring Taurus and Scorpio, but
Yeah.
the playfulness, like we drove out to the lake in the last 2 weeks, and I took her down a trail in the national park on Lake Amistad. And they had a section of it blocked off, but it's where Tater and I would go swimming, and I wanted her to see.
Mm.
And we both felt the moment was larger than us. And so we took a knee and just sat off the edge of a cliff, legs dangling for, 15 minutes. It was hot,
Taking some fresh breath, collecting some rocks.
but
I found a hag
touching the
stone.
ground
Yeah.
where this X went over. And I know there's a place I got to take Heather soon, about an hour north of here, I was told in my spirit. I don't know why I got to take this fairy lady up in my hands like this, be like running a butterfly down the road going, fly, fly.
It's because it's because hey, I have Pluto on my DC in Libra, and
Mm,
Uranus, asteroid Miriam sits
yeah,
on my Uranus at the very end of my seventh house Scorpio, and so boom, I'm an Aquarius moon ruled by Uranus.
yeah.
Uranus, my moon straight
Boom,
I
boom, boom.
brought us into each other's sphere, and so it just goes to show, like, there are things that I'm like, I talk to her all the time about this, like, if we pre-agree to these contracts, right, when
Yeah,
before we come into this life, okay, I'm going to be the one that's going to jump in and work on all this ancestral trauma, all this,
right.
I'm going to have, because we've had such similar, our charts are like exactly this, are very similar. We're both Virgos.
Yeah.
I'm an Aries rising, she's a Libra rising. Like our charts
Mhm.
are like mirrored to each other. So it's very funny how beautiful how it got worked up. But we're like, really, we had to wait till we were 40 and had to go through all this bullshit in life to
It's,
get to where we're like
I keep
supposed to
thinking to
be.
myself that whatever is inside is going to be reflected outside of us.
Mm,
And the mirror is constantly with that Libra is in front of our face. The
mhm.
things we have in front of our face right now is a reflection of what's inside of us. And the Cancer energy of the urge, right? Going up into the third eye and the crown chakra, and the idea being set free upon the world, poor things. We go shopping, we get a bunch of stuff and put it in front of us. And now we are literally setting up the mirror right in front of our face so we can look at ourselves constantly. So it's not like we're not all doing it, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. But
Spirit entered into this unit to specifically live the life that it was meant to live. Otherwise, spirit is cheated out of an experience.
yeah,
Does that
yeah.
make sense?
It totally does. And as you
We
were,
must live our life. We must. There's
when
no
you,
greater service.
no, and when you aren't, Uranus will be the quickest one to give you a tower moment to where, it's like if you're not moving and you're too stuck because
Yeah.
you get too comfortable and you're not ascending in your life path, even if you've been that Knight of Pentacles, right? You've
Yeah.
obtained all of those skills as you're going, all this, you're ready, but you
Yeah.
just are a little too comfortable to leap. Uranus, that tower card, it'll come in and do what it did to me and be like, yep, well, you
That's
can't
what I'm
rest.
saying. The
You got
Mars
stuff to
opposing
do.
Uranus right now, in any other translation, it's jumping at an emergency. These
Hmm.
are firefighters, they're EMS people, they're the woo woo people with the lights.
Yeah.
So, this connection right now also talks about rebellious behavior. Yeah. And to put it in the terms of like Gaia, that's why I'm like, she's just trying to turn over, y'all. She's uncomfortable because that's softer than
Yeah.
like, she gonna freak you, like throw you across the room.
Yeah, she's
Um,
just cracking her back a little bit.
she's cracking her back, all right.
But I also think that it is like again that permission thing. Like I think that with
Yes,
transits that we're dealing
very confident.
with the transitions that we're dealing with astrologically, and with Uranus and or Saturn and Neptune both going back into Pisces for that final dip, and
Yeah.
Neptune's at that anaretic degree. It's basically saying
Yes.
you have this dream. This dream is here. Uranus and Gemini has shown you so far since July. Think about how
Hmm.
fast life's moved. How many things have changed in your life that have only affirmed that staying stuck is not the way to be. I think that that opposition with Venus and Mars, or Uranus and Mars, Mercury and Mars, and Venus moving to Scorpio is kind of like you have the universe's permission to let go of some things and some outdated conditions that
I don't
you've
even
held
know if
yourself
it's
to.
permission is the right word, if I'm honest with you. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying
Yeah, what word would you use?
because Pluto's in Aquarius, the polarity point is Leo.
Yeah,
That's confidence.
the confidence. I like that better than permission too.
Because if you think about it, just a Leo having confidence, but let's add Scorpio to that. Because if it's a Scorpio that has confidence, get out the way, let go or be dragged.
Mm-hmm.
You have one choice, and then the Scorpio will be like, done. So, and maybe some people have used up their one choice.
Yeah.
But then you and I have been saying the name for the last week. Remember? Mercury's involved. So there's a Loki.
Low key. Yeah.
Loki. We've been
Yeah,
saying it
that's the
around the
vibe that
house.
I was getting. Low key.
Loki.
Yeah.
Calling Loki in. So we're going to get a lottery ticket, maybe.
Maybe.
Because you never know. You never
Go big
know.
in Texas, right?
Pluto
That's what
was
I'm saying.
actually like Pluto steps in with an intention to transform. It's the I need to x ray your arm, and it's very
Mm,
flat. But
yeah.
when Loki steps in, light switch, oh, yeah, let's flip it on. Why not? It's oh, there's nobody in here. What does that red button do? Um,
Then you hear the nuclear power plant. I saw like Homer
you know,
Simpson when he'd always mess something up and the power plant's going off.
it's Heath Ledger on a bad day playing the
Mm.
Joker,
Oh, and the nurse
right?
uniform. Yep.
Loki. It just basically means it's so random. But there is one trait that is familiar with all of Loki's actions is for them to have zero intention. They're like the Ace of Wands,
Like ready
very
or not.
fast, up and down, done.
Ready or not.
And whatever is whatever. Whereas you can see the other planets having full intention. Um, Mercury is like,
Well, let's not
Well,
forget, because Mercury is the only planet that can go under to the underworld.
yes, there's
So it
that
has
as
that
well.
knowledge. Yes.
That is true.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
See, we can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and yeah,
It turns out wonderful.
it does. It does every single time. Every single time. And I'm so
I love
grateful.
our people. You know what I mean? And I know what we're meant to do, and we hope that you like what we're doing. But you'll let us know anyway because we know you will. We do want to let you guys know that Woke.Ones.Revolution Patreon channel is up. The link is below this video. You can join anytime. And if you're one of my patrons on my channel and you choose to change over, you'll get a 20% discount if you move this month in November, please. We do plan on shutting that channel down around the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once it's down, it's down.
Yeah.
So I really hope that y'all see that. And anything that Miriam posts, we've been uploading to the Woke Ones Revolution
Yeah. You're
by
not going to
default.
miss anything.
But you're getting extra content too because you get the content that I create. Like I
Right.
do the monthly
Yeah.
transit calendar that you can print, and it's got the like inverse logo of Woke Ones Revolution.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
You'll also get 100% of the videos that we record,
Yeah.
whereas other channels and other social media sites are only going to get sections. You guys on Woke Ones Revolution Patreon channel will get the whole video.
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
100%.
So, also, we're gonna do when we were in the what do you call it, war room or whatever, talking
Mhm.
about the shows that we're gonna be doing. We're also gonna be doing the weekly tarot throwdown sign by sign. And that
Yes.
is only going to be available for paid patrons. Of course, we love having you as a free member, but
Yeah.
that's just like extra extensions. So our patrons at Woke Ones Revolution are going to reap the benefits of weekly all sign tag team with Em
Yeah.
and I going back and forth and
On
kind of
Mondays.
knocking them out. Yeah, I had it on
Yeah,
my.
we're going to go live with you guys on the Patreon channel. And we're going to give you the whole week's read together, all 12 zodiac signs.
Yeah,
So,
I can't remember what time. We'll keep the schedule updated. The Woke
yeah,
Ones Revolution community post page. That's where I'm going to be posting all the stuff on what times we're going to be going live and doing all that. And of course, we'll do it on our Patreon channel as well. Just
right.
make sure you guys have your notifications on, and
Yeah,
we'll keep showing
please.
you. We'll keep sharing the love.
Because we didn't do all this work for nothing. We want you to show up. I'll be out there with my spoon in my hand going, don't make me use the spoon.
Right, right.
It's
Well,
it's really going to be a lot of fun hanging out more with you in the live streams with the astrology parts of things. Um, and then, of course, Heather's going to let me keep my crazy news and geography video because I'll have time then.
he
Um,
loves that.
I really do love that. But I did get a degree in it, so I hope I love it.
Right?
And there's all sorts of really cool stuff going on with the helping the environment. Like the green sea turtles are finally off of the
The
extinction
extinction list. Yeah.
list. They're no
Yeah.
longer extinct, possible extinct.
I always
They're
think of
good.
I always think of Finding Nemo. There's got,
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
The world is, it's not just all doom and gloom. There's really awesome things that are happening with health,
Yeah,
with
using
the
medicine.
oceans getting cleaner, people moving. Oh my goodness, I was watching a TikTok the other day. I should have saved it for you guys. But this guy saw that his neighborhood needed they needed the food stamp thing. They were being challenged in that.
So
Well,
you
he
get a
was
food
like,
bank.
then we need to open up a food bank in our house So there
Yeah.
he goes and he sets it up, and people are coming and going. And somebody came by and saw what he was doing, providing for his community, which is that Aries conjunct Mercury opposing the moon and Uranus. And somebody gifted him with like hundreds and hundreds of dollars and said, keep doing what you're doing. And I was just like,
I saw that video
thank
too.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because you've got Neptune in the sixth doing what they need to do. You've got Neptune in the 10th doing what they need to do. The Neptune or Pisces in the second house doing what they need to do, right?
Yeah.
And the Neptune over the fourth, making your home a spiritual place. And then the food distribution, which would be Neptune in the eighth house. And right then and there, whatever was karmic with that community quite possibly got balanced.
Hmm.
Because that's where my brain goes. Like, we're all supposed to be working like this.
Yeah, and you're going there, and my brain's going because Pluto's sitting on my natal moon. Basically, it's my natal
Yeah.
moon's 3 degrees Aquarius, and right now Pluto's at 1 degree Aquarius, and Pluto in Aquarius does very much speak to. I mean, Aquarius is community
Humanitarian.
and humanitarianism, Heather. But then there's also Uranus and Taurus had a lot to do with things becoming unstable. Like you figure about the price increases of all the food shortages and things like that. And
Mm,
now we're dealing with it getting ready to dip back in at a time where people's SNAP benefits have been shut off. And,
yes.
people are being forced to kind of look at things a little bit differently on how they're going to go about it. And I think that it is beautiful, that
They're
that
upgrading the
philanthropy.
software to the American dollar currency system in the government system. They're upgrading that software. And so it's like,
Like Uranus
oh,
Gemini too, though. Yeah, but the
Uranus and Taurus,
humanitarian,
yeah.
yeah,
The
the
banking
human,
system.
yes, monies. We're going to be seeing changes there too. But
Yeah.
we were talking about that food thing, and I just think that
Humanitarian.
humanity is going to
It's
be getting a
okay. Work
whole
it
lot.
out.
You're going to be seeing people changing for trading for trades, yeah, or for
Yeah. The
skills
markets
and
around the world, I have
bargaining.
those things that I watch, right? And the markets around the world with the I guess what would you it's not just cordial. They came to a compromise that was workable for between China and the United States. And it
Tariffs.
looks like the tariffs are dropping and commerce will continue. So you had that, it's like a binding of some sort. And the
Mm,
Uranus going retrograde back into Taurus provides that lift, I guess, from the tariffs. So Walmart will be stocked again, guys. It's coming.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
coming.
It will be,
We knew
but
these
it's
seasons weren't going
also,
to last long.
yeah, but also Uranus.
Yeah.
Got to remember, if you guys think you can predict Uranus, you're going to be
The
wrong.
past couple moves haven't been typical moves for me. I know that much because I'm like, you want what? I feel like a chicken bobbing my head. What? Okay, okay. We at least know that we are absolutely in the same, in this, me and Heather, this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. That's what we've been told.
Yeah.
We're going to try to um, groom it up, but the best way to groom this up is with you. If you can help us, let us know what we're doing right and with respect. Let us know where we could, create something new or cut something down. But the best type of content for you is you.
Yeah. We
And
always we always value your feedback.
yeah,
And I just it is so appreciated, and we both can deal with constructive criticism, but if somebody gets all crazy in there, I'm an Aries rising.
you're out.
I'll get crazy back.
I'm too old and too tired to be in a fight with anybody. So for me, that's a very easy decision.
Right,
Feel
right.
me.
Well,
Not everybody
definitely.
gets an Arby's sandwich. And so, hello, you guys. I wanted to sit and work with a chart with you, and then a bird starts going off. KW is one of my patrons over on my Patreon channel, and this person has been one of the most faithful and loyal persons over there on my channel. And I thought it would be nice to do her chart. So here I sit doing her chart. I think I wanted to show you that the first thing that I was working on this morning was the bardos. And I went ahead and separated the bardos out. And my apologies if this is not large enough for you, but we see the bardos all pieced out. If you don't know what the bardos are, please watch the other astrology video that I posted right before this one with Heather. And it looks to me like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that she is in the 5th bardo right here. And the 5th bardo for her is including the 8th house. And when it comes to the 8th house, this is our place of personal power. Yes. However, she does have, at least a stellium in her 8th house. And so there must have been an issue in her most recent past life where her personal power got all jumbled up and interrupted the flow of what was happening here. So I'm going to go to the next page here and try to explain a little bit of what was going on as an evolutionary astrologer. The first part we always work on is going from the nodes, the south node to the north node right there. And we see that in a past life, she is coming from her south node conjunct Neptune right there in her 3rd house. And we can see that Neptune is retrograde, and that means she needs to repeat a life experience where her 3rd house is involved. Also, that placement of Pluto, because that's the next place that we start. And I can see that her Pluto is conjunct Saturn in her 1st house. Oh, wow. I'm just tearing this up, ain't I? In her 1st house. They are conjunct one another, and they are in Libra. Her ascendant line is Libra. Her Pluto and her Saturn are both retrograde. Okay. The 3rd piece I'm looking at here is moving from the moon. And according to Mark Jones, who is another evolutionary astrologer, we go from the moon towards... Well, we go left. From the moon, we go left. And the first node that we hit tells us where she's coming from. And the first node is the south node. So it definitely talks about a repeated life cycle where, I hope I spelled that right. She's on a repeat where many of her life experiences have been done before. And she's doing it again. And so I did the cross check to see, okay, well, what's squaring the nodes? Because when there are objects squaring the nodes, that's what we have to integrate. And curiously, Saturn is doing a transit right now that is squaring her nodes. And I bet you $1 million that she's a little confused right now of what comes next. I looked at that Saturn placement and saw how much farther it kind of had to go until it hit its opposition point. And, she has a little bit of time. Yeah, a little bit of time. But she's fixing to have her first Saturn opposition, which means that she's still in that area from her first Saturn conjunction, her first Saturn return. And she's past the square point. So we're between the square point of her natural Saturn and that opposition point. We're just kind of on the back end of it. So when Saturn moves into her 5th house, I can see the confusion here, because if I'm not mistaken, like I was kind of taken aback a little bit, because I was like, oh, okay, so this is about how she sees herself, but it's how she sees herself in love. Because, our soul chooses to experience certain things at certain times. And for her, I can tell that she's been a very responsible human being. You know what I mean? She's taken her work seriously, and she's coming from a past life where her role was very important in a responsible sort of way. She could very well have been more concerned with taking care of herself, but also maybe even taking care of her brood. This comes from valuing the strength of the group, staying with the group, and keeping inside of the group. Except in this particular lifetime, she's probably met a lot of different types of people who talk with her and spend time with her. But from what I can see, she is wary. You know what I mean? She's got a Scorpio moon in the first house. So her first instinct right off the bat is, what does this person want from me? Is this person trying to gain something from me? What does this person want me to do for them? Because the restriction there in that first house, it speaks about maybe even a fear or a paranoia about how someone else is going to want to run her world, where someone else is going to want to take her. Are you taking me away from my home? Are you taking me away from my responsibilities or from my family? And the sextile between the role that she plays right now is getting a Venus transit. And I also saw that it's picking up this South Node 28-degree Vesta with the Neptune. I am not at all, ignorant of the fact that this person is awake. She's awake. She woke up with the rest of us, yes. In her past life, though, she might have been interested in or immersed in a type of doctrine or a belief system that made sure that her and her neighbors were very clear on the line of who she was, what she was doing. She could have been with, an official. She could have been married to an official. She could have had this power position of saying, nobody crosses over this line without my say-so. If she was in charge of, say, ships, and they were all docked, then she was the one standing at the rope, kind of saying, you have to give me the password. You need to know your manifest and your ship and all of these things before you can cross the line. There is a strong protective nature to who she is naturally. However, she doesn't want to be assigned into roles that are not meant for her purpose. I don't think any one of us are. It's just hers is a little more emphasized than the average person. And there are only certain people who can probably get her to do things to whom she has respect for authority, or respect that kind of lines up with her belief system. I do also think that she does believe very strongly in family. I think she also believes very strongly in using correct language that is diplomatic. And for her to use a hard tone with people, it can take a while. I can see this energy of sort of, it is diplomacy. It's kind of a Knight of Cups energy for me, where she'll say something very sweetly. She'll try to get her point across. She'll do it several times. She'll do it 221 times until there's one of these transits, right, that either squares her moon and Mercury or lines up in conjunction with one of them, and she'll probably snap. Now, she may also get people who snap at her because she's trying to express, I have control of the wheel. You know, it's kind of like the captain on the Titanic. Calm down, everyone. You know, just stay calm. It's going to be okay. Except everybody else could be freaking out around her. So it puts her in this role, in this position where, you know, whether she knows the right thing to do or not, people are seeking out her leadership because in a past life, she was a leader. And her position could change the course of where we were driving, flying, going that day. And, you know, if she was like, say, a pilot and her connection to this group was, you know, I have my job, you have yours, go sit down and buckle up your seatbelt. What's missing here is actually digging into topics or subjects that are outside of her norm. And if her and I were sitting together today, she would have told me, yes, Miriam, I have lived enough of my life with this Saturn in the second portion of her life, you know, past her first Saturn return. I'm in that portion of my life where I have learned the lessons of what this North Node in Gemini is trying to teach me, which is, yes, you have the concept of something down. However, now we need to go exploring with other ideologies, other belief systems. Just because you went into a library and you got one row of books all the way down and you're good, you see what they're for, it doesn't mean that you've moved over to the next row because look, there's more rows of books in the library. So this is taking herself and motivating herself to go outside of what she feels most strongly adhering to, which is an ideology back here on how to maybe be social with one another in the third house. This could also be with her language just as a key of being, I don't want to use the word subservient. It's more like being soft, maybe even sometimes passive. However, she is trying to get her point across where I am in charge of this. I must know what I am doing with this. You know, she could very well have been separated from her family or from a group because she trusts and believes quite possibly in the expansion of those who are closest to her. You know, sometimes she could even probably get a little lost on what her role is when she stands next to other people, because the connections that she draws to her is meant to shake this role up. And sometimes it's to shake their role up, where she's standing next to them with needs of a certain kind, and they're not doing their job. And she'll go without and go without and go without. And she'll be like very sweet and very nice, like, hey, I have a need. Oh, hello, it's okay. No problem. I have a need. She can also probably go out and try to make that need happen for herself. But with that Pluto placement in the first like that, her sudden first response is to take the lead. And it can be challenging to allow other people to try to supply what is needed. So her mind is on her work, yes. On her resources, yes. Like the first thing that I see looking at this is that she was probably in charge of a group or like a papa in a group where socially it was up to her to make certain things happen, to solve certain problems, to come out the gate because other people looked up to her. It also gives the impression of perhaps a pastor or a preacher and her her neighbors were looking to her. The villagers in her town were looking to her for the answers. Maybe even looking to her for her faith, where she's holding their hands and they're all in a bunker. You know, there's bombs going off in the city, and she's the one leading the prayer with her neighbors. She's the one lifting spirits and telling them, hey, it's going to be okay. Let me get what I can get you right now in the moment to keep you calm. And people leaning on her very heavily for that. This type of person opens up the door very easily for people who are emotionally needy. Emotionally needy. You know, people coming to her with, please give me the answer. Please, you know, I'm fascinated with you. I adore you. You know, I want to hear you talk. I want to see what your opinion is about something. And over the course of her world, I can kind of see how, you know, Saturn and her Capricorn has had to break her a little, maybe even a lot, for her to understand that if you're going to lead, especially groups of people or even your partner, everybody needs to either A, take a turn, or everybody needs to take responsibility for their own stuff. Because I can't, you know, I can't clean up your lane. I can sit and talk with you for hours. It's not going to matter because you're not listening to me. There may even be certain people who are anti her opinion, and therefore she has to kind of lay down powerless in her role because their opinion is getting, you know, is taking things away. It may also be one of those challenges for her where, you know, she may have the plan, she may be moving along with it, it may be different, and all of a sudden somebody switches it up on her. You know, the interruption of something random, emergency, a lot of people with emergencies coming to her. I need a blanket, I need water, I need these things. And therefore, everybody walks away from the original plan, which can be extremely frustrating. You know, if you're looking at a past life where somebody here is, where they were in charge in that sort of way, then it would be very natural for her to kind of jump into the fray and check what's going on with her community, you know, what's going on in her relatively close quarters in some way. So if you have someone who is on the Titanic and they got that little hat on and they're running around with their little vest trying to calm everybody down and keep everybody sane while we go through an emergency or some sort, the very random things that throw her off course can create confusion for how she sees her role in this other person's life. Because what if their emergency here is so freaking big, you know, or it interferes in her own responsibilities or her own duties, definitely throwing her off course. Now, since she's already this far along, right, and her Saturn and her Neptune, or excuse me, I'm sorry, the Saturn transit here has already passed the node. The node will be continuing to sweep through her first house. The South node here will continue to sweep through her 11th house. This talks a lot about not just friendships, but quite possibly lovers, you know, where we start moving into playfulness and how to use the chart, that she's been given. That's terrible, excuse me, whatever. How to use the chart that she has to start trusting again that everybody kind of has their own needs taken care of, and how she can start using her own energy, maybe even for the first time, to achieve a dream that she has wanted. Now, also sitting with the chart, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if she has had a group, and this group could have also included children. But what I can see definitely from the transits that are happening is, first, she's probably been burned a lot by people who took from her but did not reciprocate equally. And that is coming from that Pluto here, that Pluto placement, where it's unfortunately never going to be equal. So it is therefore even more confusing on who to allow next to me and who not to allow next to me. Because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, they're going to take. I know they're going to take, and they want something from me. You know what I mean? They're going to take. And they're also going to romanticize the take. They're going to create charm. They're going to use maybe even her own charm against her in some way. And over the years, she's probably had to retreat even more into herself. This Scorpio moon in the first talks about, distrust. It kind of gives that energy of, Jack and Rose with the door from the Titanic. People grabbing at you, snatching at you, and you're freaking out because it's dark and you need to save your own life in a large way. The extreme life challenges that can come from that type of behavior, because whatever we don't address in this lifetime gets intensified in the next one. And so, yeah, she's pretty intense here about people just snatching her off the door, but also people who are trying to trick her to give up her spot, to trick her, because she originally has possession of something here, whether it's her own authority, and then she lays it down because an ideology kind of grabs her down here and says, well, you're a female or you're a male, and these are the gender roles that are designed, and that's what society says we need to do. And so she lays down herself in service to her spouse, and not knowing that her spouse is not a giver but a taker, because this is someone who does need reciprocity in a big way, but this person will also wait. The other person having emergency after emergency after emergency, and her finding these solutions with her own Taurus energy right there, needing to expand herself and find new and different and revolutionary ways to get what is needed for whatever this emergency thing is. I bet you over time she's been presented with so many emergencies that she's done this first North Node thing that says break out of the way that you use your ability on behalf of others, and we need to go digging and go finding. Now, I will also kind of point out that the cool part about this chart is that her fifth house is kind of in the first degree there of Pisces. And it does, her Magdalena is also there as well at 9 degrees. So we know that she has a spiritual gift of some kind. However, in a past life, like I said before, she could have been in an emergency where her spiritual gift over here is not her being in charge. No, that happened because of an emergency. It's not her being the leader. No, that happened because of an emergency. It's kind of like an interruption. I was interrupted because the Titanic was sinking and everybody was trying to snatch boats. So heck no, of course that's going to traumatize me. This could have also been a weather event. I'm not kidding. This down here could have picked up her house like the Wizard of Oz and chucked it. And all of a sudden she's homeless. This could have been a horde of Indians that came and burned her house down. Yes, of course. Could have been a wagon, out there on the plains in some way. But this emergency interrupted what her fifth house ability was trying to achieve. So if her initial goal was, I want to take my family, I'm the papa, and I want to put us in a different place with a different home and a different lifestyle, that was the intention, okay? That was the intention that got interrupted. It didn't mean that she actually got to the place where she unloaded the freaking wagon. You know what I mean? Took out all the goods in a shovel and started digging and pitching in for a house. But she does have a great hidden ability. This is a hidden ability. If you remove all of the emergencies, and maybe that's what Spirit has done, if you remove all of the emergencies out from underneath her, the stuff that other people are going to be like pulling at her to give and to give over, what you find is this North Node piece in her 5th house is now calling her. It's kind of like ringing the bell, saying, hello. It's time to focal point on either A, 5th house, A, your spiritual gift and the ability that you have to use for others with what? With her communication, but also with her instruction. Because notice she got stacked up with a lot of abilities on the random because people were pulling at her. She had to discover different ways to solve different problems. But now she got it all listed out. You know, she's almost had enough practice here where she can identify what she's really good at and what she's really not. She could have been also very confused because sometimes with Virgo over the 11th and Pisces over the 5th, it can talk about softer things. And even though her facial expressions may not be soft all the time, the edge to her, the only reason there would be edge is because of living out the past life stuff, you know, where people are grabbing at her while she's on the door. And they're not necessarily grabbing out of she's beautiful and wonderful and everything. They're in an emergency and they need an opinion. They need a sign. They need Jesus. They need something, right? And little by little, her provision over time, the way she goes about getting something, it's sort of like she knows what people need. She knows what is needed, you know? She knows what is needed. She may also know how to go after it. However, people are going to ride all over her opinion, or at least they have been. Now she's a bit more clear, and it does sort of show that. And the challenge that I thought was interesting was her Chiron. Her Chiron at 28 degrees like that. And notice what's going over her midheaven right now. These two are working together. And I stopped. And I was like, what is going on up here? Because the sextile between these two, the positivity that is coming now to her, is going to search and solve a different kind of thing that puts something in her 5th house, hands it to her and says, hey guys, look at this thing. It's time to return to the place that you should have been in the first place. You know, Mercury is now approaching her Jupiter and her Uranus. Mars will be following through shortly. And, you know, Mars and Mercury squaring her Magdalene over here. And I was like, wait a second. Hold on. Because notice that she's usually been singular in her attempts. And I'm still not spelling things right because it's early in the morning. God bless me. Just God bless me. Singular. Or people have put her in singular positions. However, in the later degrees of Taurus, in the 8th house, don't ever forget the 8th house is Pluto. Yeah, it is her Scorpio over her 2nd. Yeah. But it's also something that's shared. Scorpio is shared. She's had a lot of needy people around her. She's had to solve things for. But her original intent could have been, and I'm not kidding, it definitely could have been music. It could be like a traveling musical persona. It could have been a music writer. It definitely could have been a singer. But this could have definitely also been a musician, a public speaker, but someone who is really good with storytelling, giving parables. This original intent of that South Node Neptune placement, man, I hate to say it, but this is the world that we live in, where her neighbors, her villagers, if she spent a lot of time drinking and partying with these people in a past life, there could have been lifetimes where she was a crooner, and she gets up on the table with a pint and just starts swaying and singing as a crooner. And being a crooner definitely could have gotten her in trouble, because as she sings the lyrics up on the table, the whole village is laughing except that one duder standing in the corner who listens to her song. And if there's mockery in it, or there's like this message that goes against maybe even a new political regime of some kind, then don't you know that dude was coming for her in jackboots and, military style of some way, and coming to snatch her away for things that she said, for things that she had an opinion on, for things that, even locally, the third house can talk about a judgment of some kind being presented, but from a different culture, where she ran her mouth or sang a song or gave a performance of some kind that went against those different lifestyle cultural things, where now they're strapping her to burn her at the stake, just because we live in a world where developed countries tend to have the law of freedom of speech, it doesn't mean it was always that way, because it wasn't always that way. We're looking at a lifetime where maybe even her opinion or her speech had to be coded, Morse code, a language that other people couldn't read, keeping the message hidden or mysterious so that, spy work could be done. If she's taking pictures and she's in a neighborhood or a village that is not her own, and she's taking pictures, maybe she wasn't supposed to, it gives any kind of lifetime communism, you know what I mean? Revolutions of any kind. She could have been holding on to paperwork and she couldn't read herself. You know what I mean? I don't know what the message says. Why are you looking at me? I can't even read. And they're like, but you were holding it. And she's like, dude, I'm on a horse. You know what I mean? Like, my horse was just riding through town and I'm just carrying a message. And now you're just going to do what with me? So it, over this lifetime, I can see how she might have like pulled away and said, I'm only going to keep animals around me because animals are safe and people are not. And that could have been the thing. So I'm going to wrap this up, even though I know I've been chitter chatting about this chart, but the biggest portion of what she's dealing with that I think is happening right now is I think that she is being presented with a relationship that is coming in front of her face, and she may be very wary. She may be like, what are you talking about, Willis? Because I'm okay on my own. I'm done with putting other people in my world. But her sun sign is in the 8th house. She's not done with the lesson she's to do. This new improved role with Venus coming over it could very well be like, oh, hey, hello, we're going to actually put a love relationship in your world now. And she may be like, thank you so much, but I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass. She may not know what this person wants from her, right? She may be using her South Node information down here to kind of prove her point of why it's positive for her to just stay alone and on her own. The South Node cruising through her 11th house could be singularly choosing someone from one of those past groups to come into contact with and to replay a role that kind of sets her, like, I swear to God, I just need to draw the line. Let me show it to you. I think my thing's going to crash, so hang on. Yeah, we're at like 35 minutes. That's pretty long. She may be like, heck no, we won't go. And wondering what is her new role in this? Like, what is it you're asking me to do, Spirit? Because her Chiron is getting triggered with people who sing sweetly, are not always safe. And I have noticed that. And now you're trying to put a romantic situation or a child into my life in some sort of way. And I don't know how I'm going to feel about it because I prefer to keep things, alone. It's just too much for me to dream and hope and put faith in my 5th house. When I do, people take from me and I attract the needy. When I don't, people get angry at me and they blow up in my face because of my opinion. Confusion with my words and my intentions and miscommunications and all of the list of things that prove to her that she should go it alone. Nope. Saying nope. This relationship that's being presented to her right now is starting, like I was going to say, let's say this was the course that she was on in her past life, and she's going forward, going forward. And then all of a sudden comes this hit that threw everybody on the Titanic ship off. And this could have been anything. This could have been an attack from a different group. This definitely could have been war. This, you see what I'm saying? This is something that threw everything off course. And now Spirit is stepping in and saying, good job. You got yourself through the situation and it took you 30 years to do whatever. But now we're on the other side of it. Now we're over here on the other side of it. We can get back on track and keep moving forward. And we have to pair you with another person now. And I know it doesn't look safe, and I know you're a little question marky, but this is the direction you were supposed to go in the first place. And that's what I think about. Sorry about the sirens. That's what I think about this chart. She is in the 5th bardo of trying to, seek and pursue actually a relationship. That was like the intention of coming together with another relationship and growing food, right? Having a farm, of doing travel together, of coming together and even putting together a mercantile store, It's going to be Taurus in nature, maybe even a brothel. Like, hey, me and you were supposed to get together and build a red light district. There's something there. Her vision around this is really important. The way that she sees the vision and how it's supposed to come out. The thing that she's not expecting is that this relationship is supposed to join with her. Now, To me, looking at her chart, she's the one with the resistance. And I'm choosing that because she's got a moon in Scorpio in the first. Okay. Her first go is, what do you want from me? Her first go is, I don't want to expose myself to you, my body to you. I don't want you to catch me. I don't want you to see me. And it's coming from past lives where she quite possibly could have been working for a government entity. She was traveling abroad, and she didn't want to get caught. You don't want to be in a wagon going across the plains. You don't want the Indians to come out of nowhere. My God. Yeah, it's like the last thing you want to happen. So in my professional opinion, I think that she has been trying to hide from people that she feel could attack her. And now she's got to put her faith and trust in not only her vision again, but her ability again. All of her try after getting just all to bits. She's also got to partner up and then begin to expose herself and her identity and all of the stories that went along with that past identity. She's got to become vulnerable with this person, and they've got to partner up. That's how I read the charts. And as you can see, I pull karma from the past life. I show what's been going on. I show the direction the soul is moving and the theme by which the soul is moving. It gets a lot more in depth when we're sitting together because I ask you a lot of questions. The entire session is recorded, which means you can keep that video for as long as you like. And for the people in the past 10 years that I've done this for, they come back to me time and time and time again, and they say, Miriam, I go through that video all the time to try to keep myself on point and moving in the direction my soul is. It's sort of like I'm translating what your higher self is trying to do. Let's put you in a better position to work with it instead of to fight against it. It also will help to make sense of a lot of the pain. And that's the whole reason I wanted to share this, because I wanted it for myself. And once I had achieved enough education in evolutionary astrology, it gave my pain a story to show me my position in the story and to rest and be at peace. And I just wanted other people to feel that peace, to kind of say, how many times do we run around going, why me? Why did God abandon me? Why would God do this to someone he called, his daughter? Why would God do that? Why was this taken from me? Why was I restricted in this area? What is going on? And evolutionary astrologer gave me a way to observe my pain from a different perspective and sit back and just accept it and be okay with it and sort of say, oh, whether I wanted it this way or not, it was supposed to go down this way because this person's learning that lesson. That person's learning this lesson. This person's learning the other lesson. And we're all it's sort of like showing where everybody's at on the stage. It gave me peace. I spent 10 years searching so hard. This gave me peace. And so I do the work for others now to pass that peace along. So I want to thank KW for lending us her chart. If you would like to lend us your chart, please go over to the Woke.Ones.Revolution Patreon channel, and you can send us a message there. If you join up, we're going to select from that list of folks. If you're on my Patreon channel, please start navigating over to Woke.Ones.Revolution Patreon channel. All of my work will begin well, it is over there. It's going to continue being over there. And we plan on shutting down my channel by the end of the year. So don't forget to move. And if you're one of my patrons and you move in the month of November, we're going to give you an extra 20% off of that month. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. So we wanted to thank you for sitting with us through another real world astrology episode. We hope you have a good time with Venus entering into Scorpio.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
We love you guys, and
Yeah, we do.
we had fun doing this. Pleasure as always. Don't forget our calendars are open if you want to book a
Yeah.
reading with us as a pair or individually. It's all in the description of this video, and
Mhm.
don't forget
We'll
to
see you
like, share, and
guys
subscribe.
more often. Take care, you
Definitely.
guys. We'll talk to you
Bye-bye.
next time.